Conservationists in South Africa captured a magnificent close-up of a male lion, his name is Smokey, sitting in the dawn light. The video of the 10-year-old big cat in the long grass at sunrise has over 13 million views on social media. Not surprisingly, Smokey's video gives people a bit of peace in the middle of their busy lives. So thanks, Smokey, for the start of a peaceful weekend.
With intern Louie, that's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
Isn't he magnificent?
Like the Lion King.
Just amazing. Thanks for helping out this week. Happy out there. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good weekend. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, a DeForest police chief under administrative leave after a controversial video of him making racist remarks surfaces.
Plus, police are looking for your help finding a man involved in a possible child enticement incident in McFarland.
And President Trump's former campaign manager Paul Manafort heading to jail now, while a federal judge decided to put him behind bars.
This is News 3 at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3. An investigation is underway into the DeForest chief of police.
Village of DeForest staff members tell us Chief Dan Furseth has been on paid administrative leave since May 23rd. Our Rose Schmidt has been following this story throughout the day. Joins us now with the very latest. Rose.
That's right, and I actually spoke to the police chief today at his home, but he declined to comment on the investigation, telling me he was busy. Village officials say he has been fully cooperative in the investigation. The village hired someone to investigate after a YouTube video surfaced showing what appears to be Furseth making racially charged remarks about a group of black men who were going to Steak and Shake. Village Administrator Steve Falgren says the video is actually 10 years old or more. It was posted on the social media site 2.5 years ago. Now, Falgren says the person who posted it is disgruntled with the DeForest Police Department, and that's what actually led him to post the video so long after it was taken. We also talked to a number of people who live in DeForest. We'll tell you what they are saying on News 3 at 6.
We will see you then, Rose. Thank you.
Thanks.
It'll be interesting to track the temperature over the next several hours. Let's look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. Gary?
Eric, we've got heat and humidity that continues to build, and if anything, the temperatures might be a little hotter this weekend than we originally had forecast. We have alert days in the forecast for not only tonight for high humidity and the possibility for an isolated strong thunderstorm mainly north of Madison, but tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday expect high temperatures in the upper 80s to the middle 90s. Heat index values now expected to be at or above 100 degrees for tomorrow and Sunday afternoon, and in the 90s on Monday. There could also be some strong thunderstorms late Monday afternoon and Monday night. Heat advisories have been issued for all of southern Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan beginning at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 7 p.m. on Sunday. You can see how the morning thunderstorms have moved out. Now the clouds have kind of thinned out, and there's a little bit of a boundary. You can see it kind of coming through Madison there, but we could see some thunderstorms develop along that boundary. Already some storms developing over parts of southeastern Minnesota. They might affect parts of southern Wisconsin later on this evening, but the severe weather threat appears to be highest farther to the north. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. Current temperatures range from around 90 in our western viewing area to only the mid 60s near Lake Michigan, but dew point temperatures are soaring into the 70s from Madison westward, and it's that combination of heat and humidity that will push high temperatures up to around 92 tomorrow with heat index values into the triple digits. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Police are looking for your help finding a man involved in a possible child enticement incident last Saturday.
They say the suspect approached a group of children near a park in McFarland asking if they wanted a ride. Our Madeline O'Neill can tell us what police are looking for. Maddie?
Eric and Mark, McFarland police are releasing a composite sketch of the man. He's described as white, between 30 and 45 years old, with black, partially shaved hair, a beard, and a lip ring. Police say he was driving a white Dodge Caravan when he approached a group of young children in the Red Oak Trail and Leanne Lane area. According to police, the man asked the children if they needed a ride without attempting to force them into the vehicle.
This case is kind of unique because it may be difficult at this point, based on what we have, to file charges for enticement. But certainly we want to find this individual, interview them, find out why they did what they did, and try to prevent that from happening again.
If the suspect is found, police say it will be up to the district attorney whether or not to press charges. Police are asking anyone with information to call 911 or the department directly at 608-838-3151.
Madeline O'Neill live in the News Center. Thank you, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie. A Richland County woman facing a charge after deputies received a complaint of horses in bad health. The Richland County Sheriff's Department says 62-year-old Thurley Newmeyer of Loganville was questioned about the condition of 2 horses on her property. Newmeyer told deputies she knew the horses were underweight and it was due to a tooth issue. She said she also got behind on the deworming of the animals. She was booked into the Richland County Jail, now facing a charge of failure to provide for confined animals.
The commander of the Wisconsin Department of the American Legion said her husband lied to her about his military service and that she had no idea he was wearing pins and badges that he didn't earn and that he didn't fight in Vietnam. In a statement in News 3, Lauren Clewell wrote that she learned this week that her husband had been holding a deep, dark, and damning secret for over 50 years. Howard Gordon Clewell resigned his position as the organization's historian after being confronted with evidence his actual service did not match what he claimed. Amber Nicolai, the department adjutant of the American Legion in Wisconsin, wrote in an email to News 3 that she was unaware of any criminal investigation into Clewell's actions.
A federal judge in Washington has ordered President Trump's former campaign manager Paul Manafort into custody now following allegations of witness tampering in his upcoming trial. Manafort had been under house arrest. He was indicted in special counsel Robert Mueller's ongoing Russia probe. Last week, Mueller filed additional charges against Manafort for witness tampering, claiming he used encrypted messaging apps and an intermediary to contact 2 former business associates, asking them to falsely testify. Today, a federal judge ruled Manafort abused the trust of the court and ordered him into custody.
I feel badly for some people because they've gone back 12 years to find things about somebody, and I don't think it's right.
Manafort has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges against him over the last year. Special counsel Mueller now has filed more than 100 charges against 19 people, including 4 former Trump campaign members. President Trump maintains the investigation is a, quote, witch hunt.
And Trump is pushing back against criticism of his administration's decision to prosecute anyone caught trying to cross the border illegally. House Republicans have pushed back a vote on a compromise plan. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan called it a good bill because the president threatened a veto. The Trump administration enacted a new zero-tolerance policy prosecuting all adults who cross the southwest border illegally, forcing the separation of children from parents.
No, I hate it. I hate the children being taken away. The Democrats have to change their law. That's their law.
We have a job to do, and we shouldn't cede our ability to pass laws and legislate to the executive.
President Trump laid out what he's looking for in a tweet today, saying any immigration bill must have full funding for the wall and catch and release, visa lottery, and chain, and go to merit-based immigration. Anger over the policy is leading to protests in cities all across the country.
Janesville police are looking for a man who robbed a gas station last night. Police responded about 10:45 to the BP station on East Racine Street for reports of an armed robbery. Officials say a man came in, demanded money from the register. They say no weapon was seen, but the man implied he had one. The man fled from the scene with an undetermined amount of money. The gas station employee was not injured. Officials described the man as white, 5 feet 5 inches tall, light complexion, reddish facial hair. Officials ask anyone with information to call the Janesville Police Department.
An 18-year-old man is arrested after being accused of stealing a vehicle. Madison police say they found an unoccupied stolen vehicle near the 700 block of Gammon Road just after 9:30 last night. They say they found a cell phone and an ID that belonged to Justin Hoke. As he was approaching the stolen vehicle, officers asked why his ID was in the stolen vehicle. Hoke said he was a passenger in the car and nothing else. He is facing operating a vehicle without the owner's consent charge.
Firefighters rescued a woman from a tree in downtown Madison yesterday. The Madison Fire Department said a crew responded about 4 p.m. to the 400 block of Henry Mall to assist a 20-year-old UW student who had climbed a tree on the mall and could not get down. The woman between 8 and 9 feet from the ground when they got there. She strategized for about 20 minutes before ultimately calling 911 for help. Firefighters rescued the woman. She was not injured and did not need any medical attention.
All right, Madison Mayor Paul Soglin is floating the idea of a $17 per vehicle city registration fee. but isn't even sure that he supports it 100%. It would cover transportation costs and free up general fund dollars to cover an expected budget shortfall next year. But he says it's a regressive tax, something he's never supported in his 50-year career. But they may have no choice but to consider it to cover the cost of basic city services, and they need to start talking about it now if they need it by January 1st.
But we've reached a point here because of all these previous capital commitments and all these previous commitments to expand services for which we don't have sufficient funds. I think it's got to be an option to consider.
The $17 fee would come on top of a recently enacted $28 county wheel tax. State law says it must pass the city council by September 4th to be in place by January 1st, 2019.
So often you hear about unemployment rates and how they improve or worsen from year to year. Well, here in Madison, we're at an all-time low with a mere 2% unemployment rate. That is the lowest it's been in nearly 2 decades. Instead of people looking for jobs, it's now the jobs looking for people. 40 companies gathered at Elver Park for a job fair this afternoon. Companies like Walgreens, FedEx, Madison College, and other larger entities expanding their workforce. Organizers say when the jobs are seeking people, it is a better spot to be in.
But we also have a lot of businesses here in Dane County that are expanding. So part of their expansions, there are more job openings, and more job openings is better of a need. A lot of people are getting employed, which, hands up, I love that, but we also have another population that need those additional services.
Despite the low unemployment rate in Madison, this job fair was held to meet the needs of employers as well as the few job seekers.
A cross-country team from Darlington is on a journey across the state. They're running from Lake Michigan to the Mississippi River to raise money for the Relay for Life. Each runner goes a half a mile at a time before handing off the baton while parents follow along in a caravan. This is the 16th year in a row the team has done this, and their head coach says the tradition continues to grow each year.
Every year, including this year already, people will ask what's going on, and they'll just reach into their billfold and give us $20 and say that they were a cancer survivor or they lost somebody to cancer.
The team will stop tonight in Monroe before finishing up tomorrow at the Mississippi River. They'll then return to Darlington Saturday night in time for the Relay for Life opening ceremony.
Love to see that. A lot of great support there. A former Badger football player taking time to talk about his struggles with mental health. Former Badger standout Monte Ball established the Monte Ball Fund to provide mental health and educational support services for UW student athletes. After making headlines off the field and acknowledging his alcoholism and depression, Ball is back in town this weekend for the Monte Ball Fund's first ever Swing for Recovery.
And at times, you don't really know what you're going through. You don't know what you're suffering with. So I want for UW student athletes to understand that there's resources there for them. And even if they don't know what they're going through, just knowing that you have those resources that you can tap into, kind of relieves a lot of stress.
Ball says he's also working on a book that will focus on his alcohol addiction, his ups and downs, and his friendships through football.
Well, Janesville is going green. The city just installed 2 electric car chargers in a downtown parking ramp. The charging stations are on the bottom level of the parking garage on North Parker Drive. The city asks that only people who are actually charging their cars park there.
And still ahead on News 3 at 5. One deputy is dead, another seriously injured after being shot outside a courtroom in Kansas City. We'll have the very latest.
Plus, a roller coaster derailment in Florida sends 6 people to the hospital just hours after the coaster passed a state review.
And on Wall Street, the Dow closes the week with an 85-point drop. The Nasdaq lost 15, the S&P down 3. And we'll be right back. 2 sheriff's deputies have been shot near the county courthouse in Kansas City, Kansas.
Officials say the shooting happened just before 11:40 this morning. They say the deputies were transporting inmates to court for a hearing when they were overcome. Officials say one of those deputies has died from his injuries, the other in critical condition. A suspect was also shot during the incident and was taken to an area hospital for surgery.
We're not looking for juveniles. As far as I've been told, we're not looking for any suspects or persons of interest at this point.
The Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office says the deputies' own firearms could have been used against them. They are not releasing the names of the deputies involved.
Florida officials say a roller coaster passed a state inspection hours before it derailed, sending 6 people to the hospital. 2 of those injured fell 30-some feet when their car derailed and was left dangling from the track. They were riding the Sand Blaster on the Daytona Beach Boardwalk. The ride has been a fixture there since 2013. This video shows rescue workers trying to get to those trapped.
Just hear a big loud boom and we just take off running.
Everybody started screaming and we ran over there and saw the cart dangling.
Consumer officials in Florida say the coaster was found to be in compliance with state law. They are now investigating what caused the derailment.
More than 1,000 firefighters are battling smoke and massive flames from the largest of nearly 20 fires burning in the West. The 416 fire in southern Colorado threatened several communities and has already burned 32,000 acres. More than 2,000 homes have been evacuated since this fire began on June 1st. Despite the efforts of more than 1,000 firefighters, officials say they have no idea when they'll get the larger fire under control.
And we turn now to our forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us on the backyard patio, and he's got the long sleeves on. It's
That's
only in the
I don't
low
have
80s though right now, right?
I don't have a choice on the long sleeves, but the humidity is high. It's a scorcher out here, and it's going to get hotter for the weekend. We have alert days in place, not only for tonight for the high humidity that'll make it difficult to sleep, especially if you don't have air conditioning, and the possibility for an isolated strong thunderstorm north of Madison, but for tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday for temperatures in the low to mid 90s over the weekend. Heat index values into the triple digits at times. Monday still very warm and humid with highs in the upper 80s and heat index values in the lower to middle 90s. And then we could see some strong thunderstorms late in the day Monday as the heat comes to an end along a cold front. But as we start out by taking a look at the heat advisories, they are in effect basically from southern Wisconsin, western through much of Iowa into Minnesota. Excessive heat warnings in effect for the Twin Cities metro area. Future track temperatures, this is the forecast high temperatures for tomorrow about 5 p.m. You can see those temperatures well into the 90s from Madison to the south and west, and Sunday pretty much the same story, temperatures well into the 90s. Now, a Doppler track, we're watching some thunderstorms across parts of southeastern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. They're moving mainly east, but they could clip at least the northern and maybe northeastern parts of our viewing area later on this evening. There is an isolated threat of a severe thunderstorm, a marginal risk into areas north of Madison. The higher severe weather threat, the slight risk area, is up into northwestern Wisconsin. Severe weather threat for tomorrow shifts to the north, and on Sunday shifts a little bit back to the south, but it's one of those conditional threats. We're not expecting rain at this point, but if a thunderstorm can develop, it can become severe quickly because of the high instability in the atmosphere. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, you can see how southwestern Wisconsin is really cleared out, and even here at the WISC Skycam looking off toward the east, you can see mainly clear skies, the clouds now out to the east, and the live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. I'm sure those boats will be getting a lot of business this weekend. High so far today in Madison, 84, 62 the overnight low, and right now we're sitting at 84 with winds out of the south at 14 miles per hour. Heat index 88 because the dew point temperatures are around 70. Northern parts of the state in the 70s. To our south, temperatures already in the 90s. Dew point temperatures into the 70s over much of southwestern Wisconsin. You combine the two, look at the heat index right now, 98 in La Crosse, 101 in Moline, Illinois, and 104 in Peru, Illinois. So that just gives you an idea of what's on the way for this weekend. Our forecast for tonight calls for a low of 72, a chance for some evening thunderstorms, mainly north and east of Madison. Otherwise, it'll be very mild and muggy. For tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid, near record high of 92. Record high for tomorrow is 93. Heat index from 97 to 102 degrees. On future track, you can see those thunderstorms maybe clipping the northern and eastern parts of our viewing area this evening. Then just partly cloudy overnight. Low temperatures, lower 70s. Tomorrow, partly sunny, hot and humid. High temperatures, lower 90s. Tomorrow night, only mid 70s for overnight low temperatures. So those without air conditioning really don't even get an escape from the heat during the overnight hours because of the high humidity. And then we're back into the lower to middle 90s on Sunday. Sunday. Now, as we take a look at the 7 to 10-day forecast, Monday we'll see some thunderstorm chances, mainly later in the afternoon. Then we'll see a break in the heat. We'll look for temperatures to drop back into the upper 70s by Tuesday of next week. But before that happens, we'll look for one more day of heat and humidity on Monday, and then see chances for thunderstorms Monday afternoon, Monday night, and maybe into Tuesday. The rest of next week, we'll look for temperatures to be mainly in the lower 80s and less in the way of rain chances. Maybe a thunderstorm chance Thursday afternoon, and then again perhaps Sunday of the following weekend.
All right, be careful out there. It's dangerous heat.
Right.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. Ahead at 5, how a new kind of cancer treatment is helping a dad spend Father's Day with his son. That's after a short break.
When
Glioblastoma is the deadliest form of brain cancer. Most patients survive about a year, but experimental treatments are helping some patients live longer.
Kenneth Craig introduces us to one young father who's had promising results thanks to cutting-edge treatments.
Chris Amundsen cherishes every moment as a new dad with his 9-month-old daughter, Sarah.
She's a daddy's girl.
Oh, yeah. We first met Chris and his wife, Laura, 3 years ago when he was diagnosed with glioblastoma. Average survival is just 15 months for the aggressive brain cancer, a prognosis the couple refused to accept.
You just can't listen if somebody tells you that there's nothing you can do.
So Chris enrolled in a clinical trial at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City under Dr. John Bukvar. High doses of chemotherapy were delivered to his tumor in a new way, through the artery instead of the vein. The tumor disappeared until a few months ago when the 40-year-old had a seizure.
I knew what was happening.
Chris's tumor was back, and now he's in a new study using a similar approach, this time targeting genetic mutations in the tumor with a different drug.
Through a microcatheter that's basically sitting on the doorstep of his tumor. We're opening the door and spraying his tumor with high doses of this drug, cetuximab. And we're also providing radiation to this at the same time.
Only 5% of patients with glioblastoma live for 5 years, but Dr. Bukvar says those numbers are increasing.
My goal for someone like Chris, let's get you to 5 years, because 5 years from now, who knows what we're going to advance with.
After 2 treatments, Chris's tumor is shrinking again.
When you first saw these scans side by side.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is unbelievable.
This weekend, he's celebrating his first Father's Day.
He got the first hug. He gets the first wave. I'm pretty sure she's saying, Dad, Dad.
And the chance to keep fighting.
Our goals are to live our life in a normal way because we know he's going to survive this.
Why?
Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Comac, New York.
And Chris is scheduled to have a third treatment as part of his new clinical trial in a couple of months. What a special Father's Day.
Yeah, it is, and just every moment counts, right?
Modern medicine's amazing.
Yeah. Another check of your forecast. It's a hot one for the weekend in a moment.
Look at all those
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, new numbers show a dramatic increase in the number of children being separated from families at the border. The salmonella outbreak involving one of America's most popular cereals, and Steve Hartman with a remarkable story of recognition. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally at 5, a New York restaurateur hopes to strike gold with foodies by elevating the chicken wing by dressing it up in the shimmering precious metal. 2 Manhattan locations of the Ainsworth are now selling 24-karat gold-dusted chicken wings. The bar sells 10 wings for $45 or 20 for $90 at its Chelsea and East Village locations. For deep-pocketed guests, the bar also offers a special package for $1,000. You get 50 wings plus a bottle of champagne, once owned by Jay-Z. Well, why would you want that? Gold dust, that's safe to eat, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, you pay extra and you find out you have some problems down the road.
Well, Gary, there you go. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, well,
gold-dusted chicken wings.
I'll settle for air conditioning. How about that?
You're going to need that.
We got some thunderstorms tonight that might affect the northern parts of our viewing area. Right now, they're pushing from Minnesota into western Wisconsin. Current temperatures, mid-80s here in Madison, around 90 already near the Mississippi River, where dew-point temperatures are climbing into the lower 70s. These are the current heat index readings, close to 100 now out toward the Mississippi River, and heat advisories in effect from 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 7 p.m. Sunday for all of southern Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan. Once we break the heat with some thunderstorms on Monday, much nicer conditions for the rest of next week.
Miserable.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6. The CBS Evening News is coming your way next.